From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News Today.
A woman found dead yesterday has been positively identified.
The last day to get rid of those Christmas trees, find out where and how. And $2.4 million raised one national organization in Missouri alone.
Good morning. Today's Friday, January 31st, 2014. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Megan Judy.
And I'm Haley Buck.
I'm Eric Aldridge, and most of us are going to be fairly dry, fairly quiet this morning.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is, but we do have a little bit of very light snow across north central Missouri, right around the Macon-Moberly area here this morning. You can kind of see how some of that kind of moving on into areas right along Highway 24. So there could be a few slick spots from Macon and Moberly back.
World raised $46 million for Special Olympics in 2013.
This year, officers in Missouri are projected to raise $2.4 million for Special Olympics Missouri. KOMU 8's Jay McAllister is live in Boonville at one of Mid-Missouri's first Special Olympics fundraisers of the year.
Good morning, Megan and Haley. I'm live in Boonville in front of the CNR.
California officials warn 17 rural farming communities face a severe water shortage within the next 4 months.
A USDA official says the entire nation will feel the effects of California's drought. She says major cities are feeling the pressure because most get water from reservoirs. After declaring a state of emergency, Governor Jerry Brown met with water leaders and asked all Californians to reduce water use by 20%.
We now know the identity of a woman whose body was found in Holt Summit yesterday. Police say she is Jessica Morafetis. The 44-year-old woman was from Chilhowie, Missouri in Johnson County. Her body was found in a grassy area behind an ExxonMobil gas station off Highway 54. The Holt Summit Police Department says it has opened a homicide investigation. The Columbia Fire Department wants the community to know about a new online interactive guide today. The guide from the national nonprofit Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition provides information about home fire sprinklers. The Ask for Them consumer guide is ideal for safety-conscious consumers.
A fire blazes through a family's home in Kentucky, leaving only a few to make it out alive. Details after the break.
Missouri business is hoping to raise money for a hospital today. Stay tuned to find out more.
You're looking live out of our Mid-Missouri. It's 4:35 on your Friday morning. KOMU 8 News Today. We'll be right back.
Furniture Bonus. Oak Express inside Furniture Row.
Some Mid-Missourians will be splashing water for a cause today.
A fitness center in Jefferson City is holding a marathon, and it's starting tonight. All the money raised will go toward a children's hospital. KOMU 8's Jay Wallace is in Jefferson City with a look at what's happening this evening and when it all starts.
Good morning, ladies. I'm standing in front of CrossFit Unstoppable, a health CrossFitUnstoppable.com.
Thanks, Jay. An early morning house fire in Kentucky on Thursday killed 9 of the 11 family members inside. Kentucky State Police say the mother and 8 children died. The children were between 4 and 15 years old. The father and 11-year-old were flown to Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Fire investigators say the fire was started by an electric baseboard heater in a bedroom. Winter storm warnings remain in effect through tonight across much of Colorado. 16 inches of snow fell Thursday in Frisco, about 60 miles west of Denver. Several accidents closed down a 20-mile stretch of I-70. Many roads were impassable and businesses closed down for the day. A city dump truck driver said they don't know what they'll do with all the snow they've removed. With no relief in sight for them, another foot of snow is in forecast for Friday. And a cruise ship full of multiple passengers infected with the norovirus returned to Houston Thursday. The passengers are not allowed to get off the boat yet. The Caribbean Princess Cruise Line says 165 people got sick over the course of the trip. About 5 passengers still have active symptoms. The CDC planned to have a medical team ready to meet the ship. The ship returned to Houston due to, quote, unusually heavy dense fog at the port over the weekend, not because of the illness. A total of 3,100 passengers and more than 1,000 crew members are still on board. A Massachusetts teenager pleaded not guilty Thursday to the latest charge in the death of his math teacher. 15-year-old Philip Chisholm pleaded not guilty to charges of rape, robbery, and murder. Thursday, he pleaded not guilty to a second rape charge. Prosecutors say last October, Chisholm killed 24-year-old Colleen Ritzer, a teacher at Danvers High School. Prosecutors are searching his cell phone for evidence of the attack. Chisholm is being held without bail. Syrians living in the city of Homs say they're struggling to survive. A deal to allow humanitarian aid into Homs still is stalled. The Syrian delegation is demanding assurances that American aid won't go to armed terrorist groups in the city. Activist video shows destroyed buildings and streets of rubble. One local resident says hundreds of people need surgery and says he wants the injured to be able to get out. In Daria, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said Syrian army helicopters dropped bombs and killed at least 11 people. The bombs have been used extensively by the military over the past 2 months to pound opposition areas.
Now, your live Doppler.
I was late next week, but Tuesday would be a pretty weather-heavy day, I would think.
I think we may have some school issues.
There could be.
Okay.
There could be. If anyone out there is wishing or hoping for a snow date,
Wear your jammies inside out.
Tuesday, that works too. Tuesday would probably be a day to kind of watch out for.
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Okay.
Well, speaking of those kids in school, while we usually don't think of kids as being adventurous and trying new foods, apparently that's changing. With spring break just around the corner, Intercontinental Hotels and Resorts created the first global children's hotel menu to help kids stay healthy while traveling with parents. The menu allows families to find new foods together. An award-winning chef and child food expert worked on the menu to feature kid-approved dishes with flavors, textures, and tastes. On your next hotel visit, unlocking your room may be as easy as using your smartphone. Starwood Hotels and Resorts is trying to unlock a new system to connect via Bluetooth to your phone. Some automated door locks are already in use at residential homes but have been tried at hotels. Hotels are guessing the keyless system could actually prove to be more secure and convenient, so you may not have to worry about losing your room key while soaking up the sun. And kids today are using the internet all the time, but one group says they're not using it enough, at least when it comes to school. That's because Missouri only has a patchwork of offerings now for online classes for students in grade school and high school. KOMU8's Nick Thompson looks at how that could impact the future.
At Jefferson City's alternative school, online classes allow students to move at their own pace.
You can read through it, and if you don't
says it will use the study to push all school districts in the state to pick up the tab for their students' online coursework. A new study in Russian men.
See what's causing a large portion of premature death. That and more coming up after the break.
The marketplace.
Welcome back. back. Our time is 4:49. Some of the glitches of the healthcare.gov site are now fixed.
They're being worked out so more people are able to sign up for insurance, but it hasn't been easy. NBC's Monica Robbins spoke with one man whose persistence finally paid off.
Lou Garrett is a self-employed independent contractor who needed health insurance.
Well, I needed the marketplace because my insurance that I had paid for myself was being canceled.
So when it opened in October, he was one of millions who logged on.
You could log in at 4 in the morning, at 4 in the afternoon, anytime you wish, and the site would be down.
So he tried his other computers, nearly a dozen of them. 2 computers and 6 tablets in his office, the computer in his basement, his music room, his bedroom, even the guest room.
I had no luck here either.
Finally,
it was 3,118 attempts. I had spoken to 49 people. 3 of them I would actually trust with my order at the local McDonald's.
On December 17th, he got through and was faced with 60 different health plans to choose from. So is the Affordable Care Act affordable? His previous insurance cost him $500 a month.
My new plan, which is much more encompassing than the last one, it's costing me a little over $13 a month.
But on Wednesday, Lou received an email saying he still wasn't signed up.
So I had to go in again and look at it, and sure enough, they had 1 or 2 things that were wrong, even though I have a card. And the card says I'm signed up.
It may be that one of those 3,000 attempts put a minor glitch in the system, but he triple-checked with Adult Care to make sure he's covered, and more importantly, his new insurance is affordable. If you haven't signed up yet, now's the time to try. The deadline is March 31st. A new study confirms drinking vodka is a large cause of premature death in Russian men. Researchers say a quarter of all Russian men die before the age of 55, a percentage that has changed along with alcohol laws and restrictions during the past 3 decades. Now, 2 large studies show men who drink 3 or more bottles of vodka have a greater risk of death than those who drink less than 1 bottle a week. The majority of early deaths are due to alcohol poisoning accidents and suicide. More Americans are using tanning beds. A new study shows more than 35% of adults, 59% of college students, and 17% of teens tried indoor tanning at least once. Researchers say this trend could be the cause of higher melanoma rates, which has gone up 3% each year among young white women. Several medical organizations have recommended laws that would ban children under 18 from using tanning salons. A simple breath test could help doctors detect the early stages of lung cancer. A new device developed at the University of Louisville measures breath levels of 4 substances called carbonyls. Researchers found 95% of patients with high levels of 3 or more carbonyls were diagnosed with lung cancer. 80% of those with normal carbonyl levels had a non-cancerous growth.
Okay, 4:53 is your time here this morning. If you're traveling today, it should be fairly quiet weather for the most part. There will be a little light snow up to the north, but if you're coming from Columbia back on into parts of Texas, it should be a fairly quiet day. And up to the north, again, is where we would have a little bit of problems. Chicago's dry this morning, but north of I-70, and really even at that, north of Highway 24 from Hannibal through Moberly back on into parts of the northern suburbs of
Ophelia found nearly 12 years later.
Find out what was found and where it will now reside when we come back. That's as KOMU 8 News Today rolls on. We're looking live over Columbia. This is KOMU 8 News Today. Coverage you can count on. We'll be right back. A piece of American Airlines memorabilia has been returned home after more than 12 years later.
NBC's Amanda Guerra reports on a unique 9/11 finding.
For nearly 2 years sitting inside Dover Air Force Base, Joan Cody, who works there, would often stare at these two pins.
Every time I go in there, I would look at the items and say, you know, I wonder who this belonged to and how it affected their life and their family.
They were pins from a flight attendant found buried in the rubble from American Airlines Flight 77 that on 9/11 crashed into the Pentagon. The pins, with no personal markings, were never identified for a specific person or family. But Joan and these two men who found them knew, in fact, they had a home here in North Texas with American Airlines. After a year and a half of fighting, Joan was able to board a flight and bring them back.
So when I got to the cockpit, I asked the crew, they obviously didn't know what I was carrying, but I asked the crew if they would do their brothers and sisters the honor of carrying them home in the cockpit. So they took the wings and the pin from me in the case, and they took them in the cockpit and they flew them back home to Dallas.
A representation that will now be displayed on this wall inside American C.R. Smith Museum. A reminder for all of us to never forget the crew members who fought to protect us.
And in some ways, not knowing who they belong to specifically is probably a blessing, because now they all own them. All the family members, that is a symbol for them to hold on to and realize how hard that they all worked for their careers with American, and I'm sure they were fighting all the way into the ground before they perished.
The enforcement agency is gearing up to spend 12 hours on a roof today. I'll tell you why coming up.
A live look over Jefferson City at 4:58. We'll be right back.